Any long-term viewers of this channel know that I use Income School's Project 24 as a guideline to guide me through the weird, sometimes wonderful world of blogging. Not exactly the word I would use. In my opinion, it's one of the better beginner blogging courses that you can invest in. There's an affiliate link in the description if you are interested. With my blogs then growing in popularity, but me still working a traditional 9 to 5, I'm reaching a juncture where I need to start exporting out some of the responsibilities for the blog, mainly finding quality writers. One writing service in particular that I was quite keen to explore was Income School's own Content Warrior. So is Content Warrior any good, any bad? Would I recommend it? Keep watching to find out more. The good. So the first real positive that I feel as though Content Warrior has is simply the price. While Content Warrior is by no means the cheapest writers that you'll be able to find on the marketplace, they're by no means the most expensive ones either. This means that you can pick up a 1,000 word article for around $76 and a 2,000 word article for around $155. Price is of course subject to change. This works out to around about 7 cents per word, which is slightly more than the 4 to 5 cents per word that you might find on sites like Fiverr or Upwork, but is much less than you might find on more expensive premium writing websites that can charge upwards of 10 cents a word. Definitely adds up after a while. Now, as a result of this, I find that the cost reward ratio, which I don't know if that's a real thing, your boy probably just came up with it right now. The general idea is the cost that you're paying for the content is actually probably better quality than what you're paying for it, which definite positive. Native English speakers. Now, in my humble opinion, one of the best things about Content Warrior is that all their content is written by native English speakers or people with a good grasp of the English language, which sometimes this guy doesn't even really have. Now, as such, you won't have to spend hours rereading and updating the content that they provide you, and it's pretty much good to go as soon as they give it to you. What's even better is most of the content is formatted correctly with the right headings and the right layout and structure, which just making your job a lot easier in the editing process there. An easy to use service. So I found the actual process of using Content Warrior relatively easy and straightforward there as well. Content Warrior give you a handy Google sheet that you can update in as much detail as you want, making you feel rest assured that whatever content you get back will be exactly what you've put on your spreadsheet. To give you an example, the content that I ordered actually had a lot of original research whereby Content Warrior had to go and speak to a lot of different third parties just to collate and gather all that information together. I made their job a little bit easier by specifying where to actually reach out and where to get that information from, and they went ahead and did it. Now, on top of this, Content Warrior will also automatically populate the content directly in your WordPress dashboard, just making the whole process a lot more streamlined and a lot more easier there as well. Fantastic for mass posts. Finally, the last major benefit I see of Content Warrior is just the huge content farm approach that they have to content. If then you're running a website that doesn't update with 7 or 8 posts per month, but instead updates maybe 20, 30, sometimes even 50 posts per month, I would highly recommend this service. The main reason? Well, the spreadsheet I talked about in the previous section just highlights just how easy it is to allocate research, allocate writers, and just gather all that information in one easy to read document. As such, if you have a large number of posts that need to be published in one go, then I would highly recommend this service because they basically got it down to a T. You know what you haven't got down to a T? Liking or subscribing these videos. I mean, what's going on, guys? We need some more subscribers in here. So if you're interested in more videos around blogging, side hustles, personal development, any of those kinds of things, absolutely smash the like and subscribe button, as it both really does help out the channel. The downsides. So like everything, they're good things and bad things. So what are some of the major downsides of using Content Warrior? Grammarly checks. So the first major downside, in my opinion, to Content Warrior was that even though the content I received was of a good quality, it still needed a couple of tweaks here and there to increase the Grammarly score. For the past 3 to 4 months, or for however long I've been using Grammarly Pro actually, I've made a big push to get all my content up to that score of 99 plus. And I think the content when I received, it wasn't bad by any means, but it came in around the mid 80s, so a little bit of tweaking there was required. Now, in Content Warrior's defense, it was something that I didn't really specify on the spreadsheet, so maybe it was just a lack of communication on my part. But when you are paying for content, you want to make sure that those Grammarly scores are as high as possible. On top of this, there are a few phrases used multiple times. I'm talking about 5 or 6 times in the same kind of sentences, which Grammarly would have nipped in the bud a little bit and changed around a little bit. So a little bit of a nitpick here, but I think it's worth mentioning. Lack of communication. And to be perfectly fair to Content Warrior, I have used other writing services in the past for other side hustles, and Content Warrior's communication is a hell of a lot better than theirs. That being said, I do have to be completely honest in the video. There was a little bit of miscommunication when it came to getting my content back, whereby the content was in my drafts and no notification was given that it was actually published when they were meant to give me a notification, and we had to do a little tiny bit of back and forth to get the content on the website. Now, I spoke with the CS people who dealt with the inquiry very quickly, to be fair to them. However, the initial lack of communication, I feel, is still at least worth noting. Original research. Right. So this is a little bit of a tricky one with some good and some bad in there as well. One of the things that Income School preaches throughout their courses is original research. Things like reaching out to professionals in your industry, interviewing them, getting all those answers correctly together and compiling them in an easy to read article, giving your readers the best answers possible in your post. Good example of this would actually be what Income School and Jim Harmer, probably more specifically at this point, have done with Backfire. They wrote a fantastic post actually around recoil rates and rifles. Try saying that 10 times because that was definitely a tongue twister and that took 20 takes. But the general post was laid out very well with loads of tables, loads of great content there. As such, this is the level of quality that I expect from my own individual posts, and it's one of the reasons why I spend 4 to 6 hours getting all that content together and writing those individual posts. So when I received the content, while there was a ton of fantastic original research on there, there were some bits and pieces that I felt the post could have benefited from. Now, I can't really blame Content Warrior for this. After all, this post was only 2,000 words, and in order to include all the data that I wanted, you're probably going up to 2,500, 3,000 words. However, a question I've asked myself is, hands on heart, if I'd written this post entirely myself, using the research techniques I've learned from Income School, would it have been better? Probably yes. However, we have to understand that it would have taken me a hell of a lot more time than it would have taken Income School to kind of give this information over to myself. And it's also worth noting that regardless of whatever content service you use, whether it's Content Warrior, Fiverr, ProBlogger, whoever they are, they're never going to be as passionate, or the posts are never going to be as quality as what you write yourself. So just something worth considering there. The good news, however, is that this has given me an insight in terms of how Income School works in terms of the quality of the content that they're publishing. And it just makes me feel rest assured that the content that I'm writing is also really powerful, good quality content there. Doing something right fair, aren't you? Limited orders. So this is probably a good thing for Content Warrior, but not so much for the end users at the end of the day, right? Because Income School and Project 24 are both so popular here on YouTube in the blogging space, it just means that they've got a lot of attention on Content Warrior. And because they have a limited resource in terms of the number of writers, it means that they can only write a certain number of blog posts every month for you and me to enjoy. The content can get sold out in a matter of days, and so if you don't catch it at the right time, you might have to wait another couple of weeks. The recommendation. So hopefully from the video today, you can see that I've tried to be as fair and as balanced as I possibly can. So overall, would I recommend Content Warrior as a blog writing service? Absolutely. I mean, for the price that they're charging, for the fact that they have native English speakers, and for the fact that they do exactly what it is that you want them to, it definitely is something I can highly recommend. On top of this, they also write the content in the exact Project 24 way that is taught in the course. So it just saves you hours upon, teaching people to actually write for SEO and write for blogs. If you were to push me, I would say there are a couple of caveats to this. Number one, I would use the service mainly for those lower response posts that don't require that much industry knowledge to write. If you also run a rather large website that requires a lot of published posts of smaller word counts to get out on a monthly or a weekly basis, then again, I think Content Warrior would be a fantastic solution for you to use there as well. Now, in terms of longer staple content that's around about 2,000 words or more that requires a lot more industry knowledge, then I still recommend the service. Just be aware though that it'll take you around about 30 minutes to an hour of editing, adding your own spin on things and just making things as palatable as possible for your readers. So overall, I'm gonna give Content Warrior a 7.5 for heads out of 10. It's touching on the 8 mark. However, because of some of the limitations we've talked about, probably why I've knocked it down a little bit, but again, something I highly recommend. Blogging family, you can tell that I like getting my steps in walking around on this, right? If you're interested in more videos around blogging, side hustles, personal development, any of those kinds of fantastic things, absolutely smash the like and subscribe button, as it really does help out the channel. If you've used Content Warrior in the past or are thinking about using it, leave a comment down below, let me know. Really curious to open up the question for the rest of you guys and sort of see how we're getting on with that as well, and if you would recommend it or not. As always, wishing you the best of luck with your blogs, best of luck with writing, all those kinds of things for the month of July, and I'll see you next week, hopefully. Have a good one. Bye for now.